Ciao Colin, ciao Bambini, and welcome to the main stage of Madame Lenormand versus the World. Uh, it's sort of the same show, but a bit more of a chaotic, hot mess, if that's possible. And no one's really sure what's going on, including myself. I have no idea if anyone's watching this along with us because I was sharing a private link.
Well, that's in keeping with tradition. The production is slightly different when it's a UK-based situation. And in the background, as you can see, we've actually got Jumbo, the most terrifying queen on the planet. That's what I was watching it, and I still haven't watched Canadian's Drag Race. Missed the whole Jumbo, Lemon, all that kind of stuff. She is terrifying because she's the closest embodiment to like a sea witch when she moves on this, like she does like a woman, and I'm like, this is a powerhouse. This person could rip your jaw off, but is like the most feminine creature to wave the seven seas.
I think he looks like a cast off Peter Jackson Hobbit dwarf. So it's like the verticality of the hair and the big ears. I'm like, which of these things is fake? Because I wouldn't put it past him because he's a psychopath. He's like, oh no, these are just pathetic. Like, you know, just take them off and be, nope, those aren't my real ears. Because it's yeah, they make him. It's not what I expected from Canada. I didn't watch the show either.
I just, you know, if it doesn't have, everyone moans about RuPaul, but the minute she's not there, it's like, well, this isn't really Drag Race.
Yeah, we're talking about that. I have no idea why she ended up. Well, we do, the boyfriend, where she ended up doing RuPaul Down Under, because it's like, if she won't even get to Canada, which shares like a land border with the United States, how in the fuck did she end up? Anyway. It's been a mess, but it's also been a minute. Like, we could have fit 3 entire seasons of RuPaul in between the last time we caught up live,
and now we have 3 running simultaneously. I feel I'm doing that thing as well where I forget if it's I'm watching the American one, I'm watching the UK one, like, and now we've got Dutch bitches. Like, I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, this is by design. This is her like brainwashing, so that you wake up and go, what?
She's a marketing genius, I will say. She's a marketing genius.
Nice one. Well, I'm not really sure. We can say rip to cuntboard because we're actually done exploring the 36 main images, but we're now both of us. I mean, I'll tell you what, I've been doing okay on the book because the premium member course has started. I haven't been able to hit the word count every day, but it's still going good. I'm still looking for, it's still only early Feb. I'm still looking at having the majority of it done, enough to start getting the book layout by the end of the month. And because we're printing it ourselves, for instance, Animistic, I handed in April and it's going to come out in March. So there's like a year's turnaround there. We will not be doing that. Yeah, thanks. But we will not be doing that. When the book is done, people will get it. So I'm doing pretty good. I'm heading up into town for an osteo appointment in the afternoon, but I'm getting up a couple of hours early, practice some Spanish, and work on the book. So I've been doing good with it, and it feels fun. How have you been going with? Where have you been at, and what have you been doing?
Well, we had the necessary January blues. Like, the minute we logged off from the final show, I was like, the stress of like the previous 2 months had just kind of, we're like, let's deal with this. But otherwise, yeah, pretty good. Just been doing edits and things, and we had the cross card to work on, which, I mean, in keeping with the energy of the cross card, it truly was a motherfucker to kind of get done. There's so much detail in it, and there's so many different moving pieces. It's come out fun, but again, I said to you, if I ever see a jewel or gem again, it will be too fucking
I still think there's some tweaks to go, which we'll get to. But I appreciate that, because once this one gets nailed, phrasing, it's going to be good. Like, it's going to actually be.
It looks, it's a fun. We said it on the show, and I feel like it's a good one to end on because the concept is so good, and it's a really exciting image to look at. And also it looks rich because it's just lots of gold and gems. So as pleasurable to look at, total cunt to fucking draw.
Nice one. Well, before we get to it, because we are getting towards the end, I'm just going to jump to a screen share, which looks again slightly different. Rip cunt board. So James has been busy in the background putting together. This is for the 36, which is what I'm calling them now. That's the name of the Madame Lenormand's cult, the 36.
Very Battlestar Galactica.
Exactly. That's where I was going with it. All of this has happened before, so that does track. But in here, if you recall, for the people who purchase the top tier, who get one of the things they get is poster art. So we've got a little email list. It's not done yet. James is working on it. As you can see, things are still loading. But this is the sort of most up to date of where the images are. And what you're going to do, you just come down here to voting, obviously butt card, and you just click on the top 5. See this little tick next to the butt. Let's say butt, tower, ring, and so on. You pick these 5, and then there'll be a second round or whatever to get it down to a shorter one. But the 36 who are in the top tier, we are now, even though these aren't the final images, they're final enough for people to be able to vote on on the ones we want as posters. And I'm kind of struggling myself. Good, Chantel, I'm glad you made it into the room. Thank you for letting me know that I was sharing a private link to this live video. It's going to be fun. We're going to have a good chat, and I'm not sure, maybe it seems a bit mean, maybe like having a private Telegram group for the 36, but we're at the stage now where we're going to need to be scheduling the training and certification and all that kind of stuff, which will probably be March, April, because people are going to need to, it'll be April because people are going to need to get the cards and so on. But yeah, so for the 36, we're moving forward, launching our little cult, which is good. Nice one. Now, shall we start with some of the stuff you'd been working on that wasn't the skull card?
Yes, I shall. So this is the Lily card, which I don't think we've seen since its debut. And this was just putting in more lilies. It might need more lilies actually, but and more water. So I've kind of lost the water detail by adding like algae and things. But I like the vibe of it. And it's still giving me that kind of, luxury getaway sort of vibe at the top there. What do you think?
I love it. I absolutely love it.
I think I've kind of, now that I'm seeing it, so I look at these cards full like in pixel detail. Like I see the boxes of the pixel, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now that I'm looking at it on this screen, essentially card size, I'm noticing like there's maybe like a light thing I'll have to change. But I'm happy with the composition. We fixed the kind of perspective issue with there was like there were 2 separate cards happening. I think in the first run through.
A card within a card.
Yeah. But yeah, I like that. It's kind of everything's in place. I just need to fix this light. I'm basically seeing light at the top, and it's a little too dark at the bottom. So we'll zhuzh that up a little. And
the sort of possible. I like that it's not clear whether that is like a Virgin Mary statue.
Yeah.
But it's the same sort of thing where I think it's a bit too blown out because of the difference between how it looks on the iPad. And I see what you mean about the water detail, because if you look in front of the stilt houses to the right of the inset, that looks quite cool. And then there's a little bit of a paint spill in the middle, and then it's sort of
I think the water detail I had has been, I've just covered it, so there's like ripples and things, but I've just covered it so I can just move that, shift that delicately to the side so I can see it again.
But generally, like this is the exact, this is again the exact energy of a Lenormand lily card. It's really good. So
and as I like to think of the Virgin Mary as Stifler's mom spreading the ashes at that. I forget the name of the show now.
Yeah, I was saying because I could hear the theme song and I'm like,
yeah.
Why can't I remember the name of the show? We just watched it like a couple of months ago. Yeah, it's good too because
Lotus
one of the ways
Lotus something hotel, the Lotus Hotel.
Yeah, I don't know.
We're on Raised by Wolves now, guys. So everyone needs to get that.
Colin and I were talking about honestly a show that is. I struggle to find a more perfect program than Raised by Wolves, and it's back and as perfect as it was before. So that's a good thing for 2022.
Yeah,
But
it's annoying because it seems to have made zero. So when you look at like people discuss, I know everyone's on a different algorithm or whatever, but like I don't see any kind of discussion about it, which means either my timeline is too gay or not gay enough.
yeah,
So I don't know
I
what
don't
we're going
know.
to be dealing with for season 3 because it's radio silence on the socials, and just like drag queens, you need to have a large social media following to get anywhere in this world.
Yeah, I don't understand. I can't anyway. I think it's perfection. I think the show is so good.
Yeah,
but,
definitely, 100%.
Yeah. So if you're watching this, you're only getting half the story. Watch Raised by Wolves. All right. No, I'm really happy with it, and it still gives me that whatever it's called, Lotus Club. Jennifer Coolidge goes to Hawaii.
Just go. Yeah, long titles are in now, so that's what it's called.
And what's funny about that is if I can actually make it to Miguel's Astro conference in Mexico, hence why I'm going to like brush up on my non-existent Spanish. One of the quickest ways to get there, and it will be down to the wire because I got to get the moth shot and whatever, is via Hawaii, like is in just changing planes, sort of like Sydney, Hawaii, Merida or something. I can't remember, like, or Dallas and down. But I'm like, I don't have the time, which is a pity, but it's like, could I stay an extra night or two and find whatever roughly approximates this hotel and live that exact Jennifer Coolidge life? Yeah, probably not. I won't have the time.
Perfect setting for writing. I mean, I feel like they could write that off as an expense, surely.
Yeah, but I would do no writing. I would have a racially problematic friendship with the woman in like the salon. I just do the exact same thing she did.
The veil and everything.
Yeah. I wonder how many people are doing that right now. It's just like, yeah, living their Jennifer Coolidge life. I reckon up to 4 at every like major Hawaiian hotel.
Yeah,
but that,
well,
anyway,
I like to kind of travel alone, so like I can see myself kind of really getting into the culture of like the work, the staff and stuff, and see what that like who hates who's like a good time. Because these are the people that truly make sure you have a good time, but also these are the people that know all the secrets, and that's always like just dive into the gossip of a totally new landscape.
And also, you run out of weed fairly quickly, and they're the ones who know how to get it. So there's
correct.
Like the hospitality staff. Speaking of hospitality staff, the other thing I'm happy about is almost like Raised by Wolves' sexy cold cousin, Snowpiercer, is back. So
nice.
Like that kind of that hyper dystopia stuff is back, and I'm here for it. All right, speaking of dystopia, kind of weird segue. I believe the next card is the Coffin.
El Coffin. Yes, this is a complete redraw because God love the Coffin was, I think is it number 9? It's like in the first 10, so that was like a redraw because it was just done sort of low res. So yeah, to redraw that from scratch, but with more space to work, it was more fun to do because I wasn't struggling to get detail in because I actually I basically have an A4 page to sketch on instead of like a postcard. But yeah, I think now that I'm seeing it on the at card size, I maybe could make the Coffin lighter.
I like the Arlington grass this time as well. Like that literally looks like Arlington grass.
I remember last time you were gunning for like more texture in the grass, and because we have more size, we can put texture in because it doesn't get lost in the sort of.
What I would say is, I think we could do a slightly more detail in the. Actually, you'll be able to see my cursor, I believe, this time.
Yeah.
Yay! See, that's one of the things that the previous main stage didn't have. But like, I think.
Oh, you can zoom in. That's cool.
Yeah, a bit more detail. Not much because we did want it to be a crowd of umbrellas. But if there's some way we can maybe put a bit more detail around the edge of these ones. I love the top-down look of the people carrying it, which is really, really good because the letter card needs a bit more of that top-down thing. And I can point to this one and say, see, you know how to do it. Not like you not to be able to find the top.
I've not touched the letter card since we last kind of finished on it, but it's on route.
Yeah, but like I see what you mean about the Coffin a bit lighter, probably a little bit, but maybe not It looks really good. Yeah, generally speaking, looks really good. The thing that I noticed was a little bit more of the umbrellas thing, but it's got
So
that
just
like
maybe
X-Files
like,
energy.
do you mean like maybe pick out some details with like light so we can kind of see the shapes and things?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Okay, yeah,
So
that's cool.
because if we come in here like that, it's almost like it's a bit too dark, and we can just fake it. This is one example of like maybe doing a little bit more over highlighting, just because I can't see here, and I don't want them all to be distinct necessarily, but it's not quite clear when I look at it back there that
the struggle I think with this card, if I remember, was this is when we kind of decided we were going from black and white to color. So it must have been earlier than 9. It would be. And I think because it's like, and because it's top down, like you're trying to fit, like, is it like you're trying to get the kind of idea of light, but also it's a kind of gloomy coffin. So I remember there being like a struggle for all that. But now we have the more space, we can kind of get into it.
Yeah, I'm into it though. It looks really good. The grass looks great. It's exactly the kind of vibe. I can see maybe light in the coffin, slight more like differentiation between the couple of umbrellas that are up here, and it looks really cool. Yeah, really
nice.
Good. All right, now we get to what we've been calling the skull card or the RuPaul card, unfortunately. And you can kind of see where some of the struggles began, because it's almost like the Lily Withers, the double angle challenge. So it's almost like the angle of the cathedral and the angle of the skeleton saint holding like the processional cross. And so do you want to talk about these ones first before we jump to like where you're at?
Yeah, so when we discussed it on the show, we were talking about different, we knew the cross obviously was going to be in a certain position, but we were talking about multiple kind of approaches to kind of the angle and the sort of the view, and this is just kind of working through, like, I knew it kind of wasn't going to be like a forward facing, just like, like 2D kind of view. I had to kind of I wanted the sense of the cathedral. And then I ended up spending a lot of time in virtually at Merida Cathedral, so that was very cool. And that is actually where we end up. That's like reference from that, so that's like a nice little I like to get those kind of details in. But yeah, I think we kind of decided on the more dramatic effect where you're kind of looking up into the cathedral, and the RuPaul's skull drag race is kind of coming through the doors, and we still kind of get the drama of the cross and stuff. And I think, well, we'll see when we see the card.
Yeah. So really, really coming along. I love it, and I can see what you mean about struggling with the with jewels and so on. Just to jump back, the first thing I noticed is I actually think if we could get closer to that, even if it doesn't look, I think it's going to look more right than you figure. I think Rue's leaning back too casually.
Right.
I think we need to bring her a bit more forward.
So if we bring her forward closer to the cross, that means I think I would be able to. That would kind of solve the issue of possibly the sort of the inset and the sort of the perspective of the cross is kind of slightly. It's as if it would be leaning, like they're leaning at the skull is like, the skeleton is like leaning it forward almost. But if they are going to be closer, that kind of gives me a little more leeway, and we would just pop this cute little Rihanna Met Gala Bishop hat behind the inset, and that could work.
Yeah, that would be cool. The other thing is obviously, because it's not done yet, and I'm enjoying the bejeweling. This is definitely, it's getting there. This is main stage worthy. This isn't just a leotard.
It's not just Jojo folding it in.
I don't love the teeth. I mean, in general, I don't love the teeth.
In some, I just was like, I couldn't look at it again. But in some of the catacomb saint sort of examples, they
Yep.
do have like jewels in the teeth and stuff, and they have like, it's almost like Madonna's grill that she likes to pop on for Instagram. Like, so I could do that and like do like, so that it's you've got kind of a bit more detail and sort of above the teeth or in the teeth.
Yeah. It might look better sort of angled, but because that's actually, you actually used, I'm not going to say it's RuPaul's skull, but actually used the skull in that, and then have added the gems and everything separately. Because I think that might be one of the bits that's sort of slightly jarring. It does look a little bit collagey, I think.
So just
Does that make sense?
out. It's kind of offset, yeah.
Yeah, because if you the background is great. The background is perfect, and I actually quite like the angle and getting more of it in. That's exactly that sort of expansiveness we were going for. It's just this guy ended up being like the first round, the actual skeleton saint with the cross. I think that angle's is the right one. And actually, once you sort of shift that up, once you shift the head up a bit and move those things around, it may not look as I might like, not that I dislike it, but I might like it more, and I might find I think the trouble is, because it is a skull, it still looks like it's lying down. And so maybe when it's standing up, it'll have a bit more animation. And
because if that doesn't, if swiveling it doesn't work, then it's a redraw.
Yeah.
And I don't want to have that conversation
Yeah.
at this moment in time, but that's fine. We'll figure out something to do with it. The good thing is I have all the gems and stuff sort of on separately. Like this one really pushed the power of my iPad Pro, because everything is on its own layer, and it's I didn't realize iPads could sweat before, but apparently they can.
There you go. The rest of it's fantastic, and I mean, this is the cross card, and we should talk about the cross. It looks amazing. It looks exactly like what we wanted it to look like. So that it's funny, as it is always the case. We zoom in on, and this is real main stage stuff. Like, we zoom in on the thing that's wrong. We can go, everything's great, except I can see that seam, and I can see where the wig. And you go, well,
I can see your nude tights.
What about how everything is great?
Yeah, it's like Michelle. Like, I was listening to, funnily enough, listening to Trixie Mattel on Jinx Monsoon's podcast. So it's a real gay listen this week. I've just been diving deep in, and she did a talent show, like a singing drag queen talent show with Michelle Visage, and she asked her, who knows what's happening. She asked Michelle, how do you judge people without like feeling bad, or how do you get into the detail? And it's like, and Michelle says, this is her line about, you're trying to help them succeed. So every judgment, or every picking out a detail, you're just trying to help the queen move forward. So we're trying to help the card move forward.
Well, it works. We did pretty good on that front. So yeah, skull, very happy with. And obviously just keep playing with it as time permits. So let me find out, because they name different things. And we jump to the queens. Which one do we want to start with? Lucy, Queen of Hearts. Where do we want to go? Do we want to
start with Queen of Hearts, I think, because that was just the first one I started messing around with.
Yep.
So this is Inset Zone, and the last time we looked at any of these, we were still going stained glass, and I still like the idea. So it's a simpler illustration style, but it's that kind of etched. So this obviously would be like the final sort of composition would be etched with detail, and the queen figure would be colored. And I like the idea of, so we discussed, we talked about this in our Telegram chat about, how do we want to display the queen card information in the inset? So do we want like the queue and all that kind of stuff, or do we just want the image to try and portray as much information as possible?
I still want to pursue. I'm happy. Like, there's hearts on it and a queen, right? Mm-hmm. Like, if you can't work out that's the Queen of Hearts.
Yeah, I don't want to be so blunt there, but yeah.
All right, and I it's interesting because I do still like the stained glass idea, possibly, but then if I jump along to like Lucy, Is that, I mean, the background's like you can see that it's a diamond, or you will be able to see that it's like
Yeah.
diamond glass or something behind her. But is she in like, because if I look at again, it's just sketches. This one looks like it's got that kind of BVM, funnily enough, funny head angle, which is what you're trying to avoid with the other one. So that all looks like stained glass to me, but this looks like Lucy cutting a bitch, which I love. I love this.
Yeah,
Love it.
it's more
Right?
it's taken from
Mm.
so this is just like a sketch. So this is just to sort of put the idea forward to you. So when so in the Telegram chat we cast the insets. So I'll post it again tonight. So we have like a screen grab of like where we decided, and it's a great cast, I must say.
Yeah.
And Lucy Liu was Queen of Diamonds, and I assumed you meant you were going for like Irene Ishii from Kill Bill as a kind of sort
was
of
more like
archetype of the character that she
well,
tends
it's
to play.
just her brilliance, right? It just kind of worked. So like the sharpness, you could even go with, not that it would work for this, but even like playing Dr. Watson in House.
Oh yeah, good, yeah.
Like, so there's the Lucy, because I associate her with being a cutthroat lawyer and Ally McBeal, even though that's
totally that's where I first fell in love with her.
Yeah. And also Dr. Watson. So it's obviously she's done like amazing martial arts stuff and whatever as well. But I went with her as like Queen of Diamonds, like who is like literally brilliant. And that's why. But nevertheless, I like this.
Yeah. I was going for the kind of Onimusha, like female samurai kind of thing, but obviously this is just like a sketch of that kind of how they would traditionally draw those kind of characters in like Japanese art. But it doesn't have, it's not set in stone. That was just where I was kicking off from.
Yeah.
I know the character has to be brilliant, and it's a kind of this is where the mini challenge of the insets gets interesting, because how do you portray that in a kind of limited space and then with a style like a stained glass kind of thing. So it'll be interesting, like maybe is there a book? I'd like if it's like a more sort of Joan kind of vibe, if you know what I mean. Or I suppose the lawyer thing as well, right?
Yeah. I was
not
thinking
like a
more...
book and then like the sword, just like as a different kind of character.
Lucy Liu's prop cabinet, right? Like,
because the book kind of plays more into how you can portray that in a more classic stained glass style, I guess.
It does, but here's what begs the question is, because you just kind of drop this in, and let's go to, oh, where is she? This doesn't look stained glass, and this doesn't look stained glass, and this does. So hang on, let me go. And this one could go either way because it's a very early sketch. So it's a question of like, do we want stained glass anymore? Like that's more my question, because like this looks like stained glass, the other two don't, but I really like them.
Yeah. Well, so, I will say, so the Queen of Hearts it was really like a sealed. It's the easiest one because the card is the stork, and we talked about it. Yeah. This is like the one where like the card and the image and the inset are just the same sort of vibe. Yeah. And it's very just, it's easier to kind of portray because it's just Virgin Mary, like or like that kind of like Mother Mary and all that kind of stuff. But it's up to, like this is what this whole process is for, is to kind of nail it down and get it right, because again eventually this will be a deck of its own accord, so we want it to not be too themey, I guess, which would be if we ended up having samurai and snake, it's what we're doing. So yeah, no, I agree with you, but this is like the boiling down stage where we kind of, I guess we maybe have to choose wisely at this early stage, because we can't, obviously with 4 sets of insets to go, we can't kind of change midway through, because that would truly give me a mental breakdown.
So is there a way we make this, instead of stained glass, more storybook, like more like, so it's still almost like not stripped down, but is there a way we make it either more sketchy or more storybook? Like I actually think of some, I've got some in front of me. If I think of some playing cards that, and this is obviously different style, different artist and so on. Let me find a human one. So let me just embiggen myself. Hopefully this will be me. And I shall show you what I mean. All right. So see how it's kind of like more storybook. Oh, my fancy camera found my head. Phrasing.
Yeah.
Do we want, and obviously ours would be color. Let me find, because it's interesting. Here's a King of Hearts. And it's like black and red. Stupid camera. There we go. But do we want, so what are your thoughts on, I really like the stained glass idea. That's the problem, because it actually looks quite good with the insets as well. It's just, I don't see, and I like how, I like in particular how this one's going to turn out. I don't think that's going to look good stained glass.
Yeah, it's interesting. So again, keep in mind that with the inset, the detail is, it will have to be, there is not a great sort of room for detail, because it's going to be printed like an inch of the space of the, so that we can't really do more than the basic, and then maybe step it up if we decided to go forward with a deck for it, just because of the size of it. But that's, if we can, you know, we can try out the sketchy. I like that idea, and it gives more leeway for kind of storytelling, I guess, for what each inset is kind of trying to do. But then there's the issue of overloading the image of the overall image of the card, because then you've got a detailed inset and then a sort of more detailed main image. So that is definitely a challenge, as they say in France.
So I like, and all of that is correct, and that's one of the reasons why the stained glass idea works really well, because it is simplified in something. I mean, the Lenormand cards are going to be the size of playing cards themselves. So as you say, it is literally an inch. It's a micro penis on each card. But we will also have a full deck of them. So the point is, how I feel like it will be less, but tell me if I'm wrong, of a mental breakdown if you tentatively move forward with the queens in a stained glass fashion,
right?
Just bearing in mind that, like, if you get to a point where it's like, actually, this isn't going to work that well, stained glass, that the stained glass thing is up for negotiation. We'll solve it with the queens, one way or the other.
Yeah.
Right. But because this looks great, or I know this is going to turn into a really, really good card. Well, sorry.
Oh, that was the snake card is Nicki Minaj. Everyone that's viewing, the Queen of Clubs.
Yeah. So, and the only other thing, I mean, yeah, it looks really, really good. Where are we going? And she could actually have a club tiara or something if we wanted to. Again, it's only 1 inch, but on these ones it won't be. But so I'm not sure. She will lose
the thing about the more sketchy approach as well is that it might lend itself to like the rest of the insets, like the non-core insets. If you know what I mean, because then because we would have to carry the stained glass style through to the seven of diamonds, or
which
whatever.
Which sort of like, where are we going? I mean, that's stained glass inspired, right?
Right.
But if we wanted to go sketchy, if you wanted to hand draw like diamonds, or not necessarily hand draw, but you know what I mean, make them look hand drawn, that's fine by me.
Okay. Yeah, much to think about. So a thing with the stained glass then is that it is pretty easy to do, quick, it's simple. So we can maybe do like a quick barrage of kind of run throughs and just see if that has legs with basic kind of formations and stuff, and just get that set in stone, and then sort of move forward from there. And if it goes to the more sketchier, then we have all the sort of positioning and everything sort of set up already. So it's really just, you know what I mean? So nothing.
Yeah.
So that's it could end up being a more interesting mini series that we had.
Well, because it is going to be, and I do almost as much. Well, at the moment, obviously, I'm doing a lot of Lenormand reading because we're, still in this project. But I do a lot of playing card reading, so I have every
Yeah.
intention of using the actual playing cards that we make almost as often as the Lenormand cards, right? And the whole kind of idea, it's a really powerful combination to have them for a fortune teller. Like the playing cards and the Lenormand is like
Great.
It's almost like tarot is 90% and playing card and Lenormand is 115%, right? So, and Lenormand on its own is about 70, which means if you want like full cosmic range in one deck, you go tarot. But if you want full cosmic range, you go Lenormand plus playing card. So it matters. And one of the other things that, so, and you're gonna have to move forward working out which one you want, because the like playing card, I mean, stained glass looks really good small, but it also kind of blows up really well to playing card size and looks like, which it would be, a deliberate style. Whereas if we go down the sketch route, you're going to end up having to do basically 2 of each court.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yeah. That's all I can say to that. Yeah. Okay, well, that the move is to develop the stained glass kind of effect and see if it has legs.
Yeah.
And we can do that quite quickly again, because it's a simple style to kind of to kind of put into the images.
Yeah.
And see, because the thing, I guess, yeah, with the stained glass, when you're having different, when it isn't just saints and like, you know, people that you would see in a church window, you know, there is a possibility that it's maybe too theming.
Yeah.
You know, or like maybe like the kind of Disney-esque kind of what is a Beauty and the Beast, where everything's kind of portrayed in that kind of stained glass style.
That's pretty much exactly the copyright infringement I was going for.
Oddly enough, one of the references for the cross card was the Sleeping Beauty book. So at the beginning of the movie, they open like the storybook, and it's like a gem encrusted kind of illuminated text or whatever. And that was one of the kind of images that I ended up sort of scanning for kind of placements and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if we're going to solve it without you moving forward with sort of like both ideas in your head. I think it should be stained glass forward, Beauty and the Beast stained glass forward. Again, God, the amount of people who will sue us.
Listen, Sleeping Beauty is she's free to use, okay?
I think moving forward with stained glass and almost like the Queen of Hearts is, you don't even necessarily need to touch that one. Try Lucy and Nikki as stained glass, because then you'll know before we get to Denzel Washington.
Because they're more fruity than Tilda. Tilda's more classically stained glass as well.
Yeah.
Very racially motivated there. But I was going for the kind of the vibe. Kind of remember when I spat out the Lana Del Rey one and it was just her smoking?
Yeah.
Like, you know, I mean, that's the interesting thing about the beginning of, like, I guess this was the first 10 cards of the deck proper, was that you're throwing things at the wall and hoping that, or you get the kind of, you know, there's somewhere to grab purchase, and it's just kind of figuring out where the dents in the wall are that you could just crawl out. Reading is fun, guys, and I recommend everyone do it as a career. Okay.
Yeah, this is going great. Cool. I think if we can get the stained glass to work, it will be good. It's sort of like a weird long shot, right? Because if it doesn't work, it's going to come off themey, but if it does work, it's going to come off great. And Beauty and the Beast was probably in my head when I'm like, let's do it as a stained glass view into another reality. I'm sure, because I have no original thoughts of my own, that's where I stole that one specifically from. And if we can, I still think the right thing to do is to move forward between now and the next show, stained glass first, until we fuck it up. And if we don't fuck it up, just keep going, because, you know, a stained glass version of Denzel getting a blowjob, who doesn't want
Oh
that
my
in their
god,
house?
that's right. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
the other one. Maybe that was the issue early on again, and this is why it's the correct way to have this all set up, that we do the insets separately, because it has its own concern, like
Yeah.
to like as a proper deck in and of itself, so as its own sort of situation, and having to mesh all that in like to 1 week in one show would have been, again, I'd have been on the Bipolar Express like
Oh no, but but it's not how to say this. It's not how I read cards. Like, the playing cards are too important, and this is a Lenormand project about fortune telling, and you can't half-ass the insets, because that means you half-ass. And so it takes as long as it takes. It is. I kept trying to tell you that at the end of last year. So you ain't done. Here I am, only 15% of the way through the book, and you're thinking like, oh, this is pretty sweet, just a bit of touch-up. So fuck off. There are more cards in a playing card deck than a Lenormand deck.
It's yeah, well, that's it. You want, like, just from a product, like, as both a product and also a passion project.
Yeah.
So on both counts, we both want it to be the kind of best option, because ultimately, and I've said this 1,000 times, the two main customer clients that this has to impress is these two bitches that you're seeing on screen right now. like I've had too many decks that I buy and then I just don't ever like. They're pretty, but they're not very functional, or they're functional but they're god awful to look at. And like, if I'm doing this, and this might be the one time I ever do this, it has to be totally gorge. Like, there's no option otherwise.
But I want the playing cards to be good, because I also want to be able to use them as playing cards, because it's not just these two fine ladies on screen that have to be impressed. It's also the boys they wish to seduce.
Oh. You have to impress them with your card sharp skill.
Exactly. So, hey, you like these cards? Like, yeah, they're pretty good. Yeah, I fucking made them. How about that?
Well, look at that.
And everyone who's actually along with the project can do the same thing. Is that, you like these cards? Yeah, it's part of that project. So
nice.
Shall we? Cool. Because here, move forward with stained glass, but also think storybook. Because one of the things that storybook can do, just coming back to screen share, one of the things storybook can do is we can almost like, because this is already a bit parchmenty, we can actually push the parchment thing more if we were going to go in that direction, rather than having, because there's no reason we can't do that on these babies, right? As the backup, I think, like as our escape hatch, and storybook, you'll probably end up having to do two versions of the courts anyway, but it won't be as bad, I don't think, because if storybook is kind of like. And also, we could fold it into the show and say that, like, Jung's Red Book, like, on the inside of that is like a storybook version of the insets. Nicki Minaj with an apple, and a book that I would own. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. It does kind of work it, because at the very beginning we were like, we had this, like, when you were pitching this to me, you're like, I don't want to do a ye oldie timey tarot deck. Like, that was one of the kind of the aesthetics. What it was, that it wasn't like this yieldy, we're pretending this was printed like in the 17th century or 18th or whatever. But because we've done such a modern deck for the main image, the contrast could end up being very satisfying, because that would make them separate but not obscene, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, and it also references the sort of fake old timiness of a traditional Lenormand deck. So it actually plays with the idea, and it puts it in its accurate place, which is as a 1-inch micro penis on each of the cards. So it's worth, like, that's 2 to go with, because it's not too far in between. It's not too far to storybook from stained glass, right? So I still think if we move forward with a copyright violating idea of stained glass until it doesn't work, and then we can move forward if we need to with storybook.
Cool. Nice. I think, as I'm doing them anyway, so every other queen card except for the snake are just basic. Like the end set is free. There's nothing sort of obstructing it. So as the snake does kind of as kind of integral to how the end set kind of plays out, I'm going to finish that for the next week. Whether or not we have a style like sort of clamped down, we will have the card finished. Because that was like the Coffin was bugging me, and this is like one of the earlier ones that we kind of had great ideas for, and it's just need that little zhuzh to get it kind of to its final.
Yeah.
The last layer of skin needs to be ripped off the skin. The snake, which is a Raised by Wolf reference. There you go.
There you go.
Let's
see. Yeah.
So yeah. I'm as well as other edits. So I think the month of February for me has just been kind of doing like get on top of the redraws and then doing little edits here and there. But it's been exciting because it's nice to see. So I have 2 stacks of in my program of like finished but nearly finished, and then like the cards that need a lot of work done. And the card, the file with the cards that need a lot of work done is so small now. It's a micro penis in and of itself, and that's very pleasing to me because it's like it's a job well done, and we've done a lot of work, and we're getting to that point where we're just like, let's nail this down. Let's get this bitch ready for print.
Yeah.
It's working out. Like I know you had this all in your head and stuff. But I'm pleased that it's kind of all working out quite well.
Most projects don't. I mean, and so it's good that yeah, it's good that we've listened to Rue and we haven't fucked it up so far.
The spirit of Lenormand.
Yeah. It's unlikely we're gonna bring a green leotard to the main stage, but who knows? Like,
no.
Oh no, let me do like a finale reference then. It's unlikely the butterflies in our breasts will be dead.
It will bloom fully.
Yeah. I don't know how anyone's watching this without actually watching RuPaul.
At this point, the audience that we have has decided. They've decided.
Exactly.
They know exactly what's happening.
Dragged into it. Like, literally dragged into it. Yeah. All right. Well, we didn't have cunt board. We haven't done any. We haven't moved through any cards, so there's no songs. What have you been listening to?
Like, so you know how like everyone canceled their Spotify fucking
I didn't
because of like all that stuff. So I canceled mine because of like January's a tight month for me.
Right.
No, see, before it all kicked off, and I was like, yeah, totally, like, wow, love it. So I have and I was like, so I have until like I can afford it again. I have like and have had for as long as I've had memberships to these apps, like the 1 month free trial for YouTube, the 1 month free trial for SoundCloud. So here's what I'm listening to is remixes of fucking Daft Punk songs from the movie Tron on SoundCloud. Like that's what I'm in a really cyberpunk.
Okay, I like that. Yeah. No, that's fucking SoundCloud can make you feel cooler than you are, but it also
for sure.
Yeah, but like you miss reality. It's like, well, what are normal people listening to? Rather than
it's where I go to for
like DJs with 189 followers who are like, hey, check out my SoundCloud. I'm like, Jesus, I'll have sex with you before that happens. Like,
that's an answer to the question. I am now a SoundCloud rapper, so that's what I've been listening to. What about you? What have you been listening to?
I've been listening to Remy Wolf.
Oh, nice.
On my walks. It's got kind of because it's a high summer here, so I actually get the Daft Punk. What were you saying? It was Daft Punk Tron remixes because February in Scotland is grim. Let me be honest.
Sure, fucking is. I had a birthday this week, and I was like, it's the worst weather, and it always is. It's always the worst weather. Like for this week, it's just never great. So even going out for it or having a lunch or whatever is just like a miserable experience. So you need a little pep in your step. You need a little something to get you going.
Yeah, but also like something that isn't too far from the mood, because like Remy Wolf, it's high summer here. Although I'm feeling the change, like because I got up at 5 a.m. and do my sauna stuff and whatever. At Christmas time, 5 a.m. was broad daylight. Now here we are a month and a bit later, and it's dark at 5 a.m. It's still light by 5:30, so it's we still got a month and a bit of sunshine and sunset at 9 p.m., but it's turning, right? And so Remy
You
Wolf's
called
kind of
the
like
turn.
walking along the beach up. She actually kind of reminds me of Lily Allen during the kind of like sundress and sneakers, like London weather. She's kind of got that whole everything's kind of shit, but I'm like in a mood and it's good. And I'm like, yeah, I want this. I want this.
That's like this is the music really does just keep us alive most days.
Yeah. No one's ever gonna say I was listening to the latest RuPaul.
Listen, I still listen to This Is Our Country. Every now and again it pops up.
Not Hey Sis, It's Christmas. Yeah. All right. Well, we actually managed to go for an hour without cuntboard or even like conveying information about a card.
No, so, because we're so fun to be around, Gordon.
Exactly.
That's why.
Exactly. All right. So the next one will be in a fortnight, as per usual, because in Madame Lenormand versus the World,
right.
It's different time. I guess feel free to drop, depending on how you're going on the stained glass journey, stuff into the Telegram group, which is obviously quiet of late because there are no cards. Like who's talking about anything? And I will work out how I incorporate the book into these episodes moving forward, because that will help me
incorporate the what? Sorry,
the book, like where I'm at with the book. Maybe I'll, especially now that I can like read stuff. Maybe I don't know. I'm gonna spend 2 weeks working on the book and working on how I can include talking about the book in the show. So
we could do like an old school multimedia experience, like. And now you can pop your Telegram chat open, and we will have a reading.
See, you and I are not the people to do that. It took half an hour for you to get the camera to work.
And by the way, guys, I have not been able to hear a word Gordon said the whole day.
We still haven't got it quite right.
We're just professionals. We can vamp with the best of them.
This is going to be episode. We did an episode before it started. And then we did 36 for the cards. And so this is 30. So this is like episode 38 or 39. The age will be in 10 years. And still finding our feet.
Listen, it's exciting to experience new things.
Agreed.
And at this young age, it's all we're experiencing is new things.
That's true. We've got our whole lives ahead of us. All right. Well, guys, thanks for the chat. I'm glad that David finally got the Meet the Queens reference and why we called it that. This is why we started with the Queens card, because I'm like, we've got to call it Meet the Queens. And the next one's going to be called like Meet the Kings or whatever we do, which no, it's not. I've got 2 weeks. I'm going to find a clever way for each of the cards. Famous last words. Next episode, Meet the Kings. But I'm going to give it a shot. All right.
We'll see what happens.
All right, guys. We got a lot to work on. And if you are part of the 36, expect an email. It's going to say it's from me, but it's from James. Actually, I'm going to make it be from James because he's doing the actual production, wrangling the Hong Kong printer stuff. So it's time to bring a cancelled queen back. Wait, that's me. It's time to bring a new queen back. Yeah. All right, guys. See you in the next one in a fortnight's time, and it'll be on the YouTube channel and obviously in the Telegram group. But ciao, ciao.